we're going to be talking about creating something in Silhouette. We're going to be using Silhouette Studio, but we're going to be talking about creating a knockout design. Now, a knockout design is really important when you're using materials that can't exactly be layered on top of each other. And I'm talking about heat transfer vinyl in this case. So like some heat transfer vinyls, like some of the reflective vinyls, you can't layer them, on top of each other. Some of the glitter vinyls, you can't layer them. So if you want to have a layered look, or if you want to have a multicolored graphic, you have to get a little bit creative. And one of the things that we really like to do is the knockout method. So today what we're doing is we're going to be recreating this bib, this My Daddy Rocks, and it's really cool. And so one thing that you're going to notice immediately is how we have that lightning bolt. It's kind of cut out of the center of the graphic, and that's because we can't layer. This is Caesar, brand new Caesar Twinkle, and unfortunately, you can't layer it. Now, this is a really cool. It's a really cool material. It's like glitter, but it has like a smooth surface. Anyways, you can't layer it directly on top of another layer. So what we did, as you can see here in this picture, what we did was we cut it out of the graphic. So we got the lightning bolt, cut it out from the text, but also the text that was inside, like, we cut that and we made it into the bolt. So it's a really cool effect. Some of you guys watching this may be pros, and maybe you're here to offer some cool insight. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna show you guys how we made this design right here. This My Daddy Rocks. We're actually gonna recreate it. And if you're looking for the font, it's called Evogria, and I just put that in the chat as well. I believe it's available on defont.com for personal use. Not going to get super deep into it, but if you plan on reselling these graphics, you definitely want to stay on the up and up and get the licensed version of this font. But it is free. If you want to follow along, it's available on defont.com. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to be creating this design from scratch. So I'm using Silhouette Studio, but you guys are more than welcome to use whatever you want. The principles that you're going to see today, those are going to be good for whether you're using Illustrator, Inkscape, whatever it is, feel free to use that. The principles are going to be exactly the same because Silhouette Studio is a pretty doggone capable software. So, all right, so I'm going to open up my text tool. And so you see right here on the left-hand side, my text tool. I'm just going to click on that A. Then I can click on anywhere I want to here in my work area. So I'm just going to click right there, and I'm going to type I want it to be in all caps, by the way. When you're looking for a font to do this with, you want to make sure it's a really nice and bold font. I know Impact is a good font to do this sort of thing in. And for style, I want to center it. I want my graphic to be centered. All right, so you see, all I'm doing is I'm just clicking and I'm selecting all the text. Now, there's a more detailed tool available. So if you go to the right-hand side of your screen, you see the toolbar on the right. And I know you might have to zoom in or put your face real close to the screen, but check it out. On the right, you're going to see here the text panel. Open the text style panel. We're going to click on that. It's going to open our text style. And you can either scroll through all your fonts. Now, all these fonts are fonts that I have on my computer. Silhouette Studio doesn't come with any fonts, but it will load all the fonts that you already have on your computer. So I'm going to scroll up till I find Evogria. I happen to like that font. It's pretty cool. And as for the font size, I just want to max this puppy out. That's too big. 288 is too big. Of course, if you want to, you could type something in. And so I'm just going to type in 150 and hit enter. And that's a pretty good size for me to mess around with. Now I want my line spacing. So here, real quick, so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to click on this and move my text style right there. And I'm going to open up my color palette on the right. You see that there? And I want to make my text black because that's the color I'm going to use for my final graphic. And that's just how we're going to do it. So there we go. So My Daddy Rocks. I'm going to go back to the text style. And I want the line spacing. You see that? You see how it makes the lines, the distance between each line a little smaller? I want to get that pretty close. So now 65 is too close. 70% is a little too far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in a custom number. I'm going to type in 68% and hit enter, and there we go. That's how I want it. I think the letter, so right here, character spacing, that'll make the letters closer to each other. You can make them farther from each other. but I think the default at 100% actually looks pretty good. So I'm gonna keep it right there. So check this out. So this is gonna be our text. Now, once you're happy with your text, this is an important step. You're gonna have to right click it and you're gonna convert to path. Convert to path. That's gonna be a big one. So once we have our text set up just the way we like it, the spacing is good, everything is good, we're gonna right click it and we're gonna convert to path. Now, another thing is it converted each individual letter to path. So if we ungroup it, you'll see that each letter, right, is on its own. I'm gonna undo that. All right, there we go. So I'm gonna select all of these individual pieces and then right click. I'm gonna make a compound path. Now, if you have to pause and rewind this on the replay, go ahead. But what I did was I converted my text to path, which made each letter its own path. And then I had to make them all one single path. So I ungrouped them and then I right clicked and I converted to a compound path. A compound path means that these are all now one, the program considers it one image. And if I zoom in, which I have to remember to zoom in. So you see this, when I edit the points, you see all these little points come up. And actually, let's change the color so you guys can see this a little bit better. There we go. If I right click it, you see how all these little points come up? It now considers all this whole text one single piece. And that's gonna be very important for what we're gonna do next. Now we're gonna have a little fun today. I'm gonna show you guys how to make your own lightning bolt. So you see how we have, this is our final design, by the way, if you're just tuning in. You see how we have a lightning bolt that's cut into the My Daddy Rocks. We're showing you guys how to knock that out, keep everything together. But just to have a little fun today, because we all have time, we're all home. So just to have a little fun today, we're going to show you guys how to create your own lightning bolt. And one thing that I will do really quick is I'm going to click on this, and I do want this to be 8 inches tall. So I'm going to lock my proportions right here. If you see this little button, I'm going to type in under height, I'm just going to type in an 8 and hit enter. There we go. And this is now 8 inches tall. It's how I want it. I'm going to move it off to the side, and I'm going to show you guys how we create a lightning bolt. Now you can easily download a picture of a lightning bolt, you can trace one, you can get your lightning bolt wherever you want. But just for fun, I thought I'd show you guys how to make a lightning bolt. So I'm just gonna draw a rectangle, and I'm gonna draw this rectangle to the width that I want the top of my lightning bolt. And again, really quick, you see the lightning bolt, I don't want it too big, but it's gonna be a decent size. So we're going back here. I want this to be the width of my lightning bolt. And we can adjust this later. I think that's going to be a good one. And to help us see things, I'm going to go ahead and color this in with yellow. So that way you guys can see it a little bit better. Okay, so this is where we get to have some fun. I'm going to zoom in a little bit to where it's a little too far. All right. So this is our lightning bolt. And you're saying that's just a dumb rectangle. You're right, it is a dumb rectangle. But with a little love and care, we can make this into our lightning bolt. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to on the left here, you see where it says edit points. So I'm going to click edit points. And if you hover right over the line, right over the edge of this, you'll see that it goes from the little, and you probably have to look really close to see the cursor, but you just click on the border and I just added a new line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that out here, right? Now this is cool. We're creating our own lightning bolt. I'm going to go just a little bit lower and I'm going to drag it back. Now the key to making a good lightning bolt is this little, I hope you guys can see it, this little line right here. You want your lines to be parallel. So this line right here is parallel to the top line. So it's perfectly flat. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a little lower, and we're just like, we're freestyling here. So I'm not sure how good this lightning bolt's going to come out. I'm sure your lightning bolts, if you give it a little time, will come out beautiful. We're going to drag this out again, making sure that my lines are parallel, meaning this line right here is parallel to this line right here. And I'm just eyeballing this, of course. I don't have I don't have my protractor out right now. So, so here we go, and I'm gonna go just a little bit lower, gonna add another point, and I'm gonna drag that point up, and we're going parallel again. So you can kind of see, oh, okay, I kind of see where your lightning bolt is coming from. So now we're gonna do the same thing on the other side, but we're going to go just so this point's right here, we're gonna go a little bit higher. We're gonna go right about here. We're gonna bring it in. And again, this is just for fun. Feel free to download your own lightning bolts. I just thought we'd have a little fun today, create our own. And go down, right? And again, we want it to be parallel. So we're just kind of doing the reverse on the right side of what we did on the left side. Now there's about, I don't know, about 1.5 inches distance between there. There's no way to be 100% accurate for me. I'm just kind of eyeballing it, but you know, we're having fun today. It's like, I feel like Bob Ross, you know, just a couple happy accidents. So we're making sure all of our lines are parallel. And then there we go. So you see the top, we have our top of the lightning bolt. Geez Louise. And now for the last step, because remember we're making this from a rectangle. We're going to grab this last point. We're going to drag it up here. And again, keeping all of our lines parallel. Dude, you just made yourself a pretty cool lightning bolt. Check that out. It's that easy, you guys. Now, this is, I guess it could be better. I mean, I don't know. Another thing that's cool is I'm going to double click this to enter the edit points mode. If you hold the shift key, and that is a cool silhouette trick, if you hold the shift key, and it'll let you draw a box around whatever points you want to select. I can then grab this, and all of these points will move together. So if I just want a really skinny lightning bolt, well, boom, skinny lightning bolt. If I want a really weird, gross, that's not even a lightning, that's like a lightning, I don't know. Anyways, you can do whatever you want. Right now, the top of my lightning bolt is flat, but if I wanted to make it a little more severe, I could just kind of move these up and whoa, oh, that's pretty cool. Now my lightning bolt's a little angrier. It's a little more fierce, which is pretty cool. And you know what? I think I'm gonna leave it that way. Maybe, but see, now these points aren't parallel. So I mean, I don't know. You guys can fool with your lightning bolts, do them however you want. I would love to see them in our, I just hit undo right there. I would love to see them in our Facebook group. You can see it right there, heat.press/FE group. You type that into your browser, maybe open up a new tab. You could join our Facebook group. Let's see your lightning bolt. I'm super curious to see, like, what are you guys drawing from scratch? Whether it's Silhouette Studio, whether it's Adobe Illustrator. I know we have some really bomb artists out there who maybe you're seeing this and you're like, okay, let's get to the knockout part. Now, one thing that you'll notice, and sorry for hopping back and forth so much, but one thing that you are going to notice in our original is that you'll see there's an extra little point of right here in the bottom of our lightning bolt. And for extra emphasis, I guess that just means it's extra rock and roll. So I'm going to show you guys really quick how we did that. And for this, we're going to have to zoom in right to the tippy tip of the lightning bolt. It's very easy, and this is what I'm saying when you know, you just, so we're going to double click our shape, and that'll take us instantly to the edit points mode. And I'm going to add some dots right here, and then I'm going to add some more dots right under it. And let's zoom in a little more so you can see what I mean. So you see here, I just added a pair of dots right here and a pair of dots right here. On the lower one, just going to drag that out. And we are just going to try to match it on the other side. And now we have an extra little bit of rock and roll right at the end of our lightning bolt. So the final thing we're going to do is I need my lightning bolt to match up exactly to the My Daddy Rocks over here. We're going to bring this back and we are going to color it black so you can see it better. There we go. So My Daddy Rocks, I sized it to be exactly 8 inches tall. I need my lightning bolt to be the exact same. So I'm going to click on this, and you see here on the top bar, it's a really easy shortcut to resizing something. So I'm just going to type 8 and hit enter, and boom, now my is a very small change. I think I was at 8.03 or something like that, but it's important. Now what we're gonna do is I'm going to move my, or the easy way to do it is you click on this, hold the shift key. So I'm holding the shift key and I'm clicking on my other shape. And right here at the top, you see those crosshairs? This is not for deer hunting. This is, you click it and it'll perfectly center whatever you're doing, right? And so this is it. We are like in the final stages. Now this is actually how you do the knockout. So here's an important step, all right? You're gonna want to select both. So what you could do two things. You could just draw a box around whatever you're working on. It'll select both. You're gonna right click, copy, and over here off to the side, you're going to paste. Oh, okay, we'll just move it over. There we go. You're gonna paste. All right, so we have two identical sets. At this point, you cannot change anything as far as positioning because it will mess it up. So make sure all your sizing is final. In fact, what I do sometimes is I'm gonna go ahead and just hit save. And we're gonna call it Daddy Rocks. Okay. There we go. Okay, so Daddy Rocks. I hit save just in case I mess up anything. I could just go back and head to the saved version. All right. So check it out. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna click on our lightning bolt, and on the right-hand side, we're going to go to the open the offset panel button. Gonna click that, and we're gonna click offset. This is the key to the knockout method, is the offset button. So you can see here, and I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. I hope you guys can see. So you see this little red line that's on the outside of our lightning bolt? That is an offset. So what the offset button does is it creates a path just right out. It's like it traces your shape, but makes it a little bit bigger. And so I don't want my offset to be, I think I have to do it again. Okay, so let's delete this because this is too, I just hit the delete key. Here we go. So I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna click on my lightning bolt. I'm gonna hit offset. Now before you do anything, I want my corners to be nice and sharp. So instead of rounded corner here on the right, I'm gonna click sharp corner here on the left. And I don't want my offset to be that far from the original shape. So I'm gonna hit the down arrow. And you can see that it's little by little, it's making my offset just a little bit smaller. Now this is something that you're gonna wanna do with practice because when you're layering, you do wanna have a little bit of leeway as far as where you could place the center graphic. You want things to fit properly. You know, that's all up to you to determine how small you want your offset. For the sake of this video, I'm doing a 0.030 inch offset, which is very small, but I think it's gonna look cool. So I'm going to hit apply, and I'm gonna zoom out for this next step so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna click off. Now I'm gonna move my lightning bolt out of the way. The little one, the lightning bolt that was on the inside. My new offset shape, I'm gonna color it in so you guys can see it. We're just gonna make it green for the heck of it. All right, so now you can see that this green one is just a little bit bigger. The yellow one fits right just barely inside it. That's okay. One more thing to mention, don't move anything. So try not to have any shifts because everything's set in place where it is. All right, so I'm gonna click my green, the offset, and holding the shift key, I'm gonna click my text, and we're going to open the modify panel. This is where we mess with our shapes. And all you gotta do is hit the hit the subtract button, and boom, it just erased that part out of the background. I'm going to do that one more time. So let me hit the undo button, right? I'm gonna click on my green, the larger offset, hold the shift key, click on the text, and I'm gonna hit subtract. Now, one point that you may or may not wanna do, it's up to you, is these are all, if you see, they're all different individual pieces. I just hit make. So now this is all one solid piece right here. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so now remember how we had our other shape right here? No need to move anything. We're gonna click on the lightning bolt, holding the shift key, we're gonna click on our text. And now instead of subtract, we're gonna do intersect. Now, what Intersect does was, I'll hit undo so we can see that again. Intersect means that wherever the yellow shape touches the black shape, wherever they both intersect, that's where that's what's gonna stay behind. So again, I selected both shapes. You can either draw a box around them both. You could click one, hold shift, do whatever you want. And now I'm going to hit intersect. Boom, right there. Now again, it's in little pieces. So I'm just gonna hit make. And I'm also gonna color it yellow because that's gonna represent the gold layer. And now we're gonna slide it back over and check this out. This is pretty cool. So if you look at just the lightning bolt that got left behind, you can't tell what it says. If you're looking at just the black text, you can't really tell what it says, but when we layer both of these together, and of course, you're gonna have to layer this by hand when you're about to heat press, boom, you can see my daddy rocks. And of course, the reason why my daddy rocks is because we're putting this on a bib. My brother is a drummer, and so I'm making this for he has a little 1-year-old son. So I made this bib, making this bib for him. Well, we already made it, of course. So check that out. Isn't that super cool? My daddy rocks. We're able to layer, again, this is the whole point of this, is so that way we could layer non-layerable, transfers. So you can see here that like you can't put Caesar Twinkle on top of other vinyl, but you can knock it out. So that way everything on your transfer is touching the garment. Another reason why knocking out is good, because when you layer, transfer on transfer on transfer with vinyl, if you have like 3 or 4 layers deep, it feels real heavy, and on a t-shirt it might not be comfortable. But if you're knocking them out so they're layered side by side, that it's going to be a lot more manageable. Now you could do this with any shape, any text. I want to see what are you guys knocking out, man. In this case we did a lightning bolt, and you know what? Maybe this lightning bolt is not as cool. Maybe we want to edit it, or do something else with it. You want the corners to line up a little different. You can do whatever you want, however you want to fit it. That's entirely up to your creativity. And I know there's a lot of amazing creative people out there, and I'm really excited to see what you guys are going to be putting out. That's going to do it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure, and look out for these live webinars every week. I'll see you guys next week, and we do like to have a little fun and some giveaways. If you're interested in giveaways, make sure you join our group, because on Thursdays we do a thing called Post of the Week. I don't want to get too much into that, but yeah, it's really fun. Just check it out. Join the group. You'll see what you need. All right, that's gonna do it for me, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. Stay safe. We'll see you around.